416 Megan Boulevard. My remarks are focused on certainly improving what has been a rather negative tenor of meetings in the past. I would like to say I'm dismayed by what happened during the vote on Resolution 13510. My remarks, with all due respect to the town board, are directed to Mrs. DeLiva and Mr. Martin. Mrs. Malazewski was asked to be a temporary member of the Board of Assessment by Michael Godlewski, town attorney. She was told that this appointment had been discussed with the supervisor and received a positive review. At previous board meetings, Mrs. DeLiva has made a point, and correctly so, of addressing those making negative comments, that it was inappropriate and negative comments did not serve any positive purpose. Mrs. DeLiva's comments regarding Mrs. Malazewski was regarding a personal meeting that they had had. These comments appeared purely personal and did not have any appropriateness as to Mrs. Malazewski's competence on the Assessment Review Board. If she felt that strongly about Mrs. Malazewski's nomination, it would have been more appropriate to have discussed that at an agenda meeting or at a closed session. Mr. Martin's request to separate the vote with 2 temporary member resolutions versus an initial resolution appeared to be an attempt that would embarrass Mrs. Malazewski. In the future, I would respectfully request that the board discuss these points in an agenda meeting. If you are going to ask an attorney of the town for someone to put themselves in a position where their nomination is going to be an embarrassment, surely no one would want to follow through with having their name put in nomination. And again, I respectfully request that this board, and I am sure you are all, with very good intents, not put someone in an embarrassing situation. Thank you very much.
This is Alder A. I'm not the town supervisor. I'm the town councilman. So if he gave a positive recommendation, that's him. That's not me. I'm a town board member. I'm a totally different entity. B, I know Dan Gaudio's qualifications. I know he has a history in real estate. I know nothing about Mrs. Malazewski besides the fact that she gets up and speaks at every town board meeting. So your notion that I have no right to split up a vote like that is incredibly incorrect.
Mr. Martin, I didn't say
and
that.
No. But I don't know everything that goes on day to day in the town hall, so I can't speak for our town attorneys and whether they set up a resident for a resolution that night. I have to vote on what I feel is correct, and what I feel is correct is if I'm at my grievance, Mrs. Malazewski, I have no clue of her qualifications. I don't want her sitting across from me making a choice on my grievance. I know Dan Gaudio's qualifications. I don't know Mrs. Malazewski's, and that's how I based my decision. Had nothing to do with anything personal. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. She gets up and speaks at every town board meeting. That's fine. Has nothing to do with that.
But the end results were an embarrassment. I was uncomfortable with it. And has been previously said by various members of the board, you have, not you personally, but board members have criticized each other with regard to knowing what is in these resolutions. I know you have an agenda meeting. I know you took it over. I know you have spoken about other resolutions. I am merely suggesting, as strongly as I can, and with great respect, that this be discussed prior to, rather than putting someone's name in nomination and then having a very embarrassing situation.
I apologize if anybody got embarrassed, but the agenda meetings are on Mondays, the town board meetings are on Wednesdays. That's a significant period of time for things to occur. If we look at something and we deem it incorrect in that time, then we have the right to to adjust accordingly when we're up here. So that's how I base my decision. I'm sorry if anybody's feelings were hurt, but you know, this isn't preschool. A lot of your feelings get hurt all the time. That's just the way it is.
I understand
Okay.
that, but
Glad
I again respectfully suggest that the temper of the meetings has been questioned as to some negativity. And it is with my hope, since I do attend many of these meetings, that the temper be in a more positive vein and not in a vein where there might be some embarrassment.
Okay, so I'll take your consideration.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak